Welcome to the Herbalicious Alchemy podcast, the show where we explore the transformative powers of essential oils and their incredible ability to heal, inspire, and elevate your life. I'm Susie, a spiritual guide, teacher, and seeker, here to help you deepen your connection with yourself, Mother Earth, and the vast energies of the universe. I'm joined each week by my wonderful co-host, Sally-Ann Fisher. Sally-Ann is a healer and seeker who shares my passion for blending ancient practices with modern spirituality. Together, we'll guide you through the magical and healing properties of essential oils, uncovering how they can support your personal and spiritual growth, emotional well-being, and connection to the sacred. We'll weave these natural gifts into spiritual practices like tarot, the Akashic Records, and the cycles of the moon, helping you align with your higher self and live a life of intention and purpose. In today's fast-paced and often disconnected world, it's more important than ever to ground ourselves in the nurturing power of the earth and embrace the wisdom of the cosmos. This podcast is your sacred space to explore, learn, and transform. One drop of oil, one card, and one lunar phase at a time. Hello and welcome to the Herbalicious Alchemy podcast. Today we are going to discover a message from the Akashic Records to really help us to move forwards, to understand what the collective is experiencing at this time. We will be pulling a tarot card to see how that is relative and how it can help us in understanding the message from the Akashic Records. We'll also look at a moon phase and an essential oil that can help us both spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally as well. As always, I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Sally-Ann. Hey,
Hi,
Sally.
Susie. Very excited for this episode.
Me too. Me too. So, as I went into the Akashic Records, I felt this overwhelming weight upon the collective. And it was this weight of overwhelm, of burnout, of really being in the masculine energy, the energy of always doing and striving and hustling, and all of those different energies that literally burn us out mentally. I really felt that the message here was that we need to step more into our feminine energy. Of course, we need both. We need the masculine and the feminine. But I'm really feeling that this is a time to be led by the feminine, right? So that we can come out of this energy of doing, of striving, of planning, of working, of doing all of the things that we feel that we need to do or should do because that is what we are told that we're supposed to do, right? And to step into the energy of the feminine, which is about creativity, flow, intuition, and it's a much softer version of ourselves. Of course, we need the masculine energy to be able to take action on the intuition and the feminine energy that has come in for us. I was also really drawn this week to the earth energy and the energy of Gaia, of healing, of abundance, of plenty, and that everything that we need is already around us. We just need to tap into that. So when we're in our masculine energy, I think, sometimes we forget to ground ourselves, that nature and Mother Earth is here to help support us in this lifetime. So I was really drawn to being able to get outside, to ground, to trust that nature has what we need in order to help us to move forwards. So, Sally-Ann, have you ever experienced burnout, mental fatigue, or overwhelm?
Yeah, Susie. I've got an example of overwhelm, the feeling of overwhelm. I didn't used to understand it when people told me that they couldn't make decisions, they couldn't do things. I was like, why not? I didn't understand it because I hadn't experienced myself. And I now know that when I'm in physical fatigue, I do. feel it. You know when you're tired. But when you've
Mm.
got mental fatigue, you don't always realize it. You're kind of unaware of it. And there's a few little symptoms that start to creep in. For me, it's decision fatigue. When I'm getting mentally fatigued, or I'm getting to the point of overwhelm, I start to struggle to make decisions. And the example I have for you, Susie, is that as part of the military, I was airport operations at our RAF unit Goose Bay in Canada, in Newfoundland, in the middle of nowhere. And there was like one supermarket, there was one restaurant, there was like it was very austere. And I lived there for 18 months. And we would go into the supermarket and there'd be one brand of peas, one brand of this, one brand of that. And then it might disappear from the shelf for 3 or 4 months. And then suddenly a different brand of that thing would come in. And shopping in life was very, very simple and very easy and very few decisions. I came back to the UK and I walked into a British supermarket and I just stood there looking at all the brands and all the choice, and I felt overwhelmed. I couldn't make a decision. I just stood there and I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. And to somebody else, or before I had that previous experience, that 18 months living in Goose Bay, I could go into a supermarket and shop and not even think about it. But I, at that point in my life, went into overwhelm, decision fatigue. I couldn't make a decision. There was too much information. And so I totally understand now when somebody tells me that they're in overwhelm or they just can't make decisions, they can't do things. I know there's a healing process they need to go through, and it might be temporary. It could be just a life experience that's happened in that moment just previously before the overwhelm. And I'm much more empathetic to it, Susie.
Fantastic. So, how long did it take you to overcome this anxiety and overwhelm to be able to go shopping again?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't take too long because I realized the solution was to go to a tiny corner shop and just shop there for a few weeks. I don't think it lasted long. I think it was only a few weeks.
Hmm.
I just had to get myself back into the idea that it was a different way of thinking and doing. I don't think it took long, Susie, but I remember feeling this feeling of why can't I do this? This is such a crazy simple thing to do. Why can't I do it?
It's amazing how our experiences actually shape our reality,
Hmm.
right? And something quite simple can have a massive impact on how we then show up, right? And how we interact with our day-to-day lives.
Yeah. Susie, I'm interested to know. I think you're gonna pull a card now from the tarot
Yes.
because I'm
Yes.
really interested to know how we should be reflecting on this. It could be quite interesting.
Okay, so let's have a look. We'll give the cards a good shuffle. Oh, there
Ooh,
we go.
ooh,
See that
what
one
did it
flying out?
plug itself out?
Literally flew. Okay.
Right, which one is it, Susie?
Okay, so it is the Four of
Oh,
Swords.
swords. Hang on, I gotta find that.
Oops. The card is the Four of Swords. Now,
Oh,
as you
that's
can
right. Yeah.
see, if you're watching on YouTube, so the Four of Swords has a man laying on his swords. He is absolutely exhausted, right? Swords represent our mental faculties. So he is mentally exhausted, and that's going to have an impact on his physical reality, right? So he feels like he's at this point of life or death, right? He is completely burnt out. He has to now make a decision to move forward from this place. Does he give up? Or does he make a decision to make a change in his life and rest and recuperate and take that time to heal his body of everything that is going on in order to move himself forwards? Or does he just give up and die? So, this is like a pivotal point in our lives. Are we going to continue to stay in the masculine energy of doing, striving, hustling? Or are we going to rest, connect to our intuition, and be led by our soul in order for a softer, more gentle, creative, flowing, easy life, right? The decision is up to us. How does that resonate with you and the Akashic Records this week, Sally Ann?
Yeah, I'm a little bit blown away, but this is the card that came up, to be honest, because it's so relevant, isn't it? I think the card is saying to me that we just need to recoup and recover and rest in order to stay out of mental fatigue. Or if we are mentally fatigued, we need some sort of routine. Um, we need to lick our wounds and get back on. Um, I'm trying to think what else. I guess in my analogy of the tree, Susie, that we talked about with the
Mhm.
moon phases. I know you haven't talked about the moon phases, but for me, it feels like this is just before winter, the leaves have dropped, and we're going into a rest period before we decide what our new goals are, when we're going to burst, when we're going to start some forward motion and spring into life again. Um, so yeah, that's what I think about the card.
Fantastic. So let's talk about the moon phase. The ideal moon phase for this would be the waning crescent moon. Now, the waning crescent moon is just before the new moon. So this is the time we want to release, we want to let go, we want to take that time for rest, recuperation, and for introspection as well. Right, really looking at what's working, what's not working, what do we need to let go of, what do we want more of in our lives. And like he is at the point where he needs to take that time to rest and recuperate, right? We can't just suddenly change everything without introspection, without understanding exactly what is going on in our lives and what's working and what isn't working. So taking that time in the waning crescent moon to rest, recuperate, and to journal and gain introspection on exactly what is going on so that you can release it all before the new moon, because we don't want to take the things that aren't working, right, into the new moon phase. That will affect the whole of the next lunar cycle, and you'll still be in those same energies of overdoing it, of being in doing, of hustle, of planning, and all of the things, right? We want a much more relaxed and intuitive energy to lead us forwards. Is there anything that you'd like to add, Sally Ann? Because I know your tree
Yeah,
analogy is pretty
you
awesome.
could tell I'm like, oh, I've got something. I think that I've done quite a bit on decision fatigue myself, and I've read some personal development books on that sort of thing and overwhelm. And one of the easiest ways that we can help reduce the decision fatigue or that feeling of overwhelm is if we can automate our mornings, Susie. So in the morning, just like a car that's cold takes a lot of fuel to get going. It's not very efficient. And as it warms up, it becomes more efficient. And so our brains take a lot of power to make simple decisions first thing in the morning. And decisions get easier and easier and easier towards the end of the day. We're very, very efficient at making decisions as long as we're not too tired at night. So the way to save your decision making process and your mental fatigue is to automate your mornings, set your clothes out the night before of what you're going to put on. Decide what your breakfast is going to be. Maybe decide what the first 5 actions. I do this because I'm terrible in the morning, Susie. In the morning, I really can't be productive. So I
Hmm.
have the 5 things that I know I can achieve that I want to get done first thing in the morning. And I don't think about it too much. I just get them done. And then by about sort of 10 a.m., I'm good. Then I can be creative and I can do things I need to do. So I think that's really good. If people can automate their mornings, that simple process would really alleviate problems for the rest of the day. And the other thing is that every time we make a decision not to do something, we're eating up our willpower. And I don't know if you've noticed this, Susie, but like up until a certain point in the evening, I have the energy and I'm making good decisions. When I get to a certain point in the evening, I've got decision fatigue. If I've walked past a chocolate bar that's been on the side and I've had to say no to it like 50 times walking past it, my willpower is getting less and less and less. And as I'm starting to feel tired, I start to make poor decisions and I will make the decision at some point. I've run out of willpower. I've got decision fatigue. I can't say no anymore, and I eat that
Mm.
chocolate bar, and then I stay up later than I should do. La 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 la. Then I get a bad night's sleep, and then done. So I think we've got to make life easier for ourselves, with automating our mornings and taking decisions away from the day.
Definitely. I mean, fantastic. And when we're doing that, we're setting ourselves up with good routines, right? That we can add to, and things become a whole lot easier. So I wanted to touch just very briefly on some of the physical symptoms that
Mm.
happen with burnout, so that we can choose an oil to
Mm.
help us with that. So some of the physical ailments are fatigue, obviously, depression, anxiety, overwhelm, stomach issues, effects on our nervous system as well. Just to name a couple, would you like to add? And maybe feeling powerless, right? If you look at that tarot card, he is
Mm.
feeling completely powerless as he is laying on what potentially is his deathbed, right? So powerlessness is definitely an energy that goes with that, right? And with powerless, we tend to feel lost, right? And we're lacking our purpose and all of those things. So, is there anything that you'd like to add to the physical symptoms so that we can choose an oil that feels very aligned to this?
On the physical side, I would say that mental clutter,
Mm,
detoxing ourselves. I really feel that when you have a clutter clearing session at home, you feel and you think much more clearly. And I think when you have a little detox of the body, it helps you with thinking. And I think that that detoxing and looking after ourselves and clearing our space, clearing our clutter mentally, physically is important, don't you, Susie?
absolutely. I mean, the space and the energy physically when we clear, it just feels inviting, doesn't it? And
Mm.
it feels warm and it feels light. So mentally clearing what's going on up here is going to be really, really powerful for you. But also finding something that's going to motivate you to be able to do that, that's going to help you to think clearly, and that's going to be able to help you to feel joy as you do this. So I
I,
feel lemon would be
yeah,
a
I
good
was going to say lemon.
lemon.
I was going to say I've totally got an oil in my head that I think that we're going to,
Yeah, I
lemon.
think
I agree.
it's got to be lemon,
It's
right?
got to be lemon. Yeah.
For me, I've got my lemon here. For me, lemon is such a joyful fragrance, right? Just its fragrance alone reminds me of Italian summers, right? And it's happy. You cannot not smile when you smell lemon, right?
My lemon's down in the kitchen, Susie. I'll get
Oh, love it.
later.
Absolutely love my lemon.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about some of the
Yeah.
practical and
Yeah,
benefits?
lemon is incredible. I really like lemon. It does so many things. It's such a joyful smell. It's uplifting, it's energizing, it makes you feel happy. When lemon or any of the citrus oils goes into your ancient brain, your amygdala, it tingles the receptors for happiness and it literally bypasses the thought process and just makes you feel happy. It's such a beautiful oil. And lemon oil is great for detoxing the body as well, Susie, having mentioned the detoxing side of things.
Yes.
So what we're doing is we're putting a drop of lemon essential oil in our glass of water 5 times a day. 5 drops of lemon oil would be the equivalent of one rind of a lemon per day. So you can grate, you can grate the rind if it's unwaxed of a lemon, but I like to put a little drop in a glass of water at least 5 times a day, and I'm getting the power of one lemon a day of detox for my body.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I am going to point out at this point, please only put essential oils that have been certified as food grade, like doTERRA, into your water. Okay. And that goes across, any of the oils that we mention, they are food grade. If we tell you that you can, put them in your mouth or, take them in internally in any way.
Yeah, I totally agree, Susie. And I only use the brand doTERRA because I know that they're safe and they've got a little symbol on the side that says you can ingest them. And you only ingest essential oils in very small amounts if you've been told to do so or advised to do so by somebody that understands aromatherapy. So
Yeah,
I agree totally.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Um, Go on. I was going to say, interestingly, lemon essential oil can be used very easily around the house as well. If you get like anything sticky, like the sticky labels on glass jars, and you've got that residue,
mm,
you put it on there. Any little dirty
yes.
marks on the wall, put it on there. Even permanent marker pen, if you've got, you can use it on there. I once went on holiday and I took a rubber face mask with me. It was very old, and I wrapped it up in some clothes so it wouldn't break the glass, and I took it with me. And when I opened up my suitcase, the rubber, I didn't realize it was so old, it disintegrated and it just become very gooey. The rubber was literally melted like tar,
Mm,
and it had gone onto some of my clothes. And I was like, oh my goodness, these are my favorite clothes. And I thought, well, I know lemon essential oil is good. I don't think it's that good, but I may as well give it a go. And I put a drop on my clothing and I just used my finger and rubbed. And would you believe that gooey, sticky, rubbery mess just melted in front of my eyes? And I rinsed it off under the tap, and all my clothes survived. And I've never forgotten
perfect.
that. The power of the lemon is
Lemon.
incredible.
Absolutely. I mean, I make my own cleaning sprays, so I always use lemon in there. Not only does it give like a really nice, fresh fragrance, but it also degreases as well.
Yeah.
So lemon is very good for depression and
Hmm.
anxiety,
Yeah.
right? Because it lifts the spirit, right? And if it clears the mental fog as well. So when you do have to make decisions, you have like a clearer mind to be able to do that. On a spiritual level, it clears stagnant energy. Now, we are energetic beings and we pick up energy from all over the place, right? And, being in contact with people, we can pick up their energy. It can come through our aura and hooks and cords and all of the different things, right? Which we'll talk about at another point. But, um, so we pick up this stagnant energy and we have our own stagnant energy as well. So being able to clear this is really, really powerful. And you can do that by just putting a drop on the top of your head. You can rub it in your hands and inhale it. You can use a diffuser, 5 drops in a diffuser. Lemon also amplifies mental clarity, right? So it's going to help clear all the clutter that's in there. It can help you focus and it can help you to release overwhelm as well. So it works really nicely with all of the physical elements that we talked about today. It also works on a spiritual level. It works with the waning crescent moon and it ties in so nicely with the Akashic reading and the tarot card that came up today. So, Sally Ann, do you have some affirmations that may be useful
Yes.
this week?
Let's try. I embrace stillness as a path to wisdom. I'm allowed to pause and take a deep breath. I'm going to prioritize my wellness over perfection.
I love that.
It's one of my favorites. I am grounded and centered. I embrace my divine femininity
Mhm.
with grace and ease. Um, and it's okay for me to rest right now. It's okay, Susie, for me to sit and be and
Yeah,
not do.
I like that one too. Absolutely amazing. So, if you would like to know more about lemon, its practical uses, some recipes to incorporate it into your day-to-day life, then do come and check out our social media platforms as there will be more information there. If you'd like to know about the cleaning products, you can find those on my YouTube channel. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and joining in our journey with the wisdom from the Akashic Records. the information that we received from the tarot, the waning crescent moon, and the lemon essential oil. Next week, we'll explore a new essential oil, a new tarot card, and a new Akashic record message to guide us on our journey. Together, we will uncover more wisdom and insight, one drop of oil, one tarot card, and one lunar phase at a time. Until next time, take a deep breath, find your center, and remember, you're deeply connected to the magic of the earth and of the cosmos.